Hey, welcome back to a BBQ Life TV podcast. We're here still in Miami, Oklahoma at the Smoke on the Route contest. We drove down. It is literally hotter than, well, it's just damn hot. So we'll just go there. I'm Greg with American Fire Barbecue. This is Bree Vi with Smokin Magic Barbecue as well. We're here. We got some new guests with us today that we're going to get into and talk to. We're going to have some fun. How are we feeling? That last one was hot. And I apologize when y'all see it. We're losing cameras. The cameras are heating up.
Yeah, it
and
says
they're getting hot.
heat advisory where it feels like 10002.
Somebody get a thermopin and see what the asphalt. Let's see what the asphalt is out here in Oklahoma. It's just like hot. It's just like damn hot. So
We've got breeze.
we got a breeze.
Cool
It don't
breeze.
feel awful bad, but it's just hot. So
Breeze,
That's
it's
a
moving.
fan.
It's
That's
self-made,
man-made
but
breeze.
you know.
on the other end of these mics, we have a couple different teams with us today that are out here competing. Some really good teams that we like to follow and we think are some really good folks. We have Nancy and Jeff from Petie Smokin Pits, right? You hail Oklahoma, right?
Oklahoma City.
Yeah, Oklahoma City.
That's where
Cool.
we hail from, and
Cool.
this is our second year to do this contest,
Yep.
and it's our 7th year to actually be in Pro Series doing KCBS.
Doing KCBS.
And so yeah, we have a lot of fun at it.
Cool,
And
cool. We also have Mr. Chris
Mr.
Webb.
How we doing,
from Bushmaster BBQ. He's with us today, and
sir.
He's kind of been out every single week, and I think that's probably what we'll get into. You just sorry, Chris. You just said that you second year in KCBS Master. Seventh year. Yeah.
Second
Okay.
year for
Yeah.
this contest.
Yeah.
So,
Did you get a third here last year or something like that?
we ended up 5th
did
last
well.
year.
Fifth
Yeah,
last year.
yeah,
Cool.
we ended up 5th.
How many have you guys done this year?
Not too many this year because they just it seems like they're dropping left and
Yeah,
right.
right,
So they're just.
right.
I think this is maybe our 4th contest this year. So we're just how far we can travel around and,
Yeah.
Right.
and kind of make it work.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I get
Now,
you.
do y'all travel? Like, do you have a certain radius you try to stay in?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's all about how getting time off work
Yeah,
and
right.
things like that. And so, yeah, we do have kind of a radius that we travel. We'll go as far north as Nebraska, and we'll go east, Missouri, Arkansas, that area. And then west, we'll go over to, we've been to New Mexico, and then, of course, down south, we venture down there to fight with those Texas boys.
Right.
So, and gals. So, they're tough down there. So, yeah. But
Yeah.
Now, what do y'all do for day jobs?
I work for Amazon. I'm one of the
Okay.
area managers for Amazon, and Mom is fortunate enough to be retired. I don't want to talk all for you.
Yes, I'm retired, but during the week, all I do is go get stuff for
Prep,
him.
right.
Yeah. I was gonna say there is nothing about
Everybody
barbecue.
needs a Nancy, right?
Yeah, everybody needs an answer, and there ain't nothing about barbecue
I
that's
have a
retired.
list
I
every
can tell you
day
that.
What store I'm going to pick stuff up
Yep.
for the next week.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
That's
Well,
my
then,
job as
for,
well.
That's
For
my job.
sure, everybody needs a Nancy. That's that's fantastic, Chris.
Yes, sir.
We
You've
know
been
you-
all over.
yeah,
You've
it's
been
like
all
he
over the
travels.
country, right? You
Yeah.
you were kind of on a tear in the early part of the year.
Yep.
And, we talked a little bit last week, but you've been all over the place. Where have you been this year? What states you got to?
So I went coast to coast this year.
Yeah.
So most folks know, but I live in Colorado. I live in Denver. But yeah, I'd say my farthest I went as west as Yuma, Arizona, which is a border town
Right.
in Arizona to Mexico, and then I went from there and I went all the way out to Virginia and North Carolina. So
Oh, wow.
kind of
Lord.
everywhere in between, right? So
Now, do you drive or do you fly in or?
talent flies, I drive.
There you go. I
The
got
working
you.
man drives.
But I'm fortunate enough I can work a lot remotely too, so that helps. But yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm no Levi Stokes
Right.
from a mileage standpoint because I still have a job.
Exactly.
But yeah, we try to put some miles.
You
on for
know,
sure.
you've logged some serious miles in.
So talk to us about your job for
Yep.
those that don't know what you do full time.
Yep. So I'm
your
the
gig?
COO for Proud Souls Barbecue and Provisions in Missouri as well as Colorado.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Great stores.
Yeah.
Great stores.
Yeah.
Great brand.
You guys just opened up a store in Kansas just
Yeah.
recently.
Yes.
In Missouri.
In
Missouri.
Missouri.
Yeah.
Yep.
We did a demo out there. Yeah, a
Yep.
few weeks ago. Mhm.
Yeah,
Nice
I've been
store.
out. So I left Colorado maybe 3 weeks ago. I went and cooked in Worthington, Minnesota. Then I ran into Greg down in Osceola last weekend, and now I'm out here. And I was fortunate enough to try some of your products, and honestly, lights out, dude. So,
Oh,
yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
Thank
so
you
thanks
so
for bringing those
much.
in, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed them, especially
Thank
that
you.
Bloody Mary. If you haven't had
Yes.
the Bloody
Yeah,
Mary,
we've got
that's why
'em.
she's the Bloody Mary queen.
Thank
right?
you.
If you haven't had the Bloody Mary,
Yes.
it's,
Well,
it's
I want it.
Yes, ma'am. I've got
she's
them.
probably got it.
I've got them.
Oh, yeah.
I got
I've
the
got
Tito's.
some
Let's
for
go.
you to try. It that's on ice, and then we've got gallons in here. Right now, it's just in gallons. The liters are coming, like they're in the test fill stage, so
Sweet.
it'll be here shortly. But we've got gallons and all of our products, anything you want here
You
in
know,
the trailer.
I was talking about Bloody Marys on the way up here.
Were you really?
Yes, yes.
And if
Awesome.
you don't like vodka or tequila in your Bloody Mary, she puts sake in it.
So we make it's called a Samurai Mary. It's our competition Bloody Mary mix that we bottled. So just a very short story. Bloody Marys are near and dear to my heart. My dad passed away 7 years ago. It was his favorite drink. Grew up making them way younger than I probably should have, but he liked them with the horseradish and the Worcestershire and had spice and a kick. And so first comp I went to with Brad in 2020 was Excelsior Springs. I didn't know anything about smoking any kind of meat or doing any kind of barbecue, but they had a Bloody Mary contest, and I said, hey, can I do that? And he said, sure. So I took second, and then every time out since then, I've taken first. So when we won the airport deal and we were doing our rubs and sauces, people started asking, are you bottling your Bloody Mary mix? And I'm like, well, I hadn't really thought about it, but it was pretty popular and something we were kind of known for. So I asked, and they said yes. And so now it's the only Bloody Mary being served in the Kansas City International Airport.
Nice.
And several of the local brick and mortar restaurants around town are starting to carry it as well. And then people are also, like barbecue comp people especially, because you're up so early, they love the Bloody Marys, so they'll come by at the barbecue stores. Proud Souls has got it, and American Fire's got it. The grilling company had it. I don't know if they've still got it, but they've got our gallons. And some people are like, well, a gallon's so much, and I'm like, well, it keeps, and for weeks. And then also, ours is thicker than most by design, because when you put the ice in it and the liquor, you don't want it to get watered down. But it makes it fantastic to cook with. So chilies, meatloaf, spaghettis, smoked oysters are my favorite.
Ooh.
We have to
So-
get a gallon.
Yeah, gallons,
We
no
got gallons
problem to
of
go
Blues Hog.
through.
Let's
Yeah.
get gallons of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
You'll go through
so,
it.
but
Yes,
yes,
sir.
we will get y'all Bloody Marys for sure. So
Chris, where are you in the standings right now? I know you're up there. You're doing pretty well.
Yeah,
right?
I'm sitting at 11 right now. I've cooked.
What?
Yeah, I know, man.
You've dropped to 11.
I was only at 10.
Oh, you didn't make
So-
it. I
so
thought
I
thought
fell.
you were up in the top 5 for a
No,
bit.
no,
Oh,
I never
okay.
have. I'll be
Sorry.
honest, I never
Sorry.
have.
Sorry.
I think I have a decent amount of wins this year.
Right.
But I've only cooked 14 contests. So
Oh,
I think
okay.
a lot of times I have 5 or 6 wins. Or 4 for, sorry, I have 6 wins for the Jack.
Right.
I have 4 wins for Toy. So I think it just,
But you have your Jack qualified
Yes, sir.
already,
Yeah,
right?
I do.
Yeah,
Yep, correct. So-
Yeah, Ryan found out.
I know I told him.
Did
I
you
couldn't
tell
do it, man.
I had already told him. I said, I was talking to Chris. We were sitting by the trailer. And so if you don't know, Ryan Kane, well, I went too, but Ryan Kane had won a Nebraska contest at Septemberfest in Omaha last year. And they kind of promote.
I reserved it.
Right.
But
Oh,
then
did you reserve
I
it?
reserved it.
Yeah.
And then, so to your point, go ahead. Yeah.
So they kind of thought that it was a given that it was a Jack draw, right? It was one contest in Omaha. Well, the St. Yanni contest up there at the church in January says, hey, we're going to make ours a qualifier this year. So all of us dumbasses went, yeah, let's go cook in January in Nebraska and see
there's
how
a
good
reason
that
why
goes.
no, we don't have cooks
You know?
up here then.
But it sounds good right now.
Yeah.
I
No.
would take a Nebraska in January.
Yeah.
to what we
Oh
got
hell
now.
yeah, we would. Well, but it was bad that day. Anyways,
No,
so
no.
we were sitting up there, and when I heard it was going to be there, Ryan Kane was going because he's like, man, I got to defend. I've got a draw out in Nebraska. I want to try and defend. And then Meet Rushmore and we kind of looked at it, and I talked to Jamie. My wife's like, I am not driving to Omaha in January. We're going to get in an ice storm. I said, no, we're not. The weather says it's going to be great. So I'm serious. And really, it was a nice little place, nice little
yeah.
contest. I would go back in a heartbeat, right? But it was cold, and we knew it was going to be cold. But I called Jamie from All Forked Up for Q and said, you come with me? let's go try and get us a jack draw. Which is arrogant in my mind. There's a lot of good teams there, but I thought, if you don't play, you can't win. It's just like the lottery, right? You don't buy a ticket, you can't win. So I'm like, we got to go. We got to give it a shot. So we go up there, we drive up there, and we do our best. And then Chris pulls out the win, and then we get it, and Jamie and I get reserve, and then Damn Fine ends up third. So
But here was a backstory to that, even going back farther. So if we go back to Septemberfest, right, which is where he won, I legitimately felt bad for Ryan. He's a friend of mine. Because they played it like
they gave him a picture,
gave him
a
the
plaque.
Yeah.
They said automatic draw,
Yeah.
you're in, and I'm like, dude, you are not in. If anybody pulls off a Nebraska contest,
There's a lot
we
of
had
time
been
left.
hearing that maybe Papillion was going to come back and some other things. I'm like, dude, you don't have a draw, man. If they can slip anyone in, but by August 1, you can't. I mean, I want you to get it, but it is what it is.
So what I did was that was Labor Day weekend, right?
Yeah.
Same, great contest. So if you haven't cooked it, definitely go out. And then so the next weekend, I was after the same thing that everybody else was, right? There was a bunch of savages. It looked like your contest at BBQ. I mean, they were freaking great cooks.
Right.
And so when I reserved it, I got in my truck and I went to Utah. The next weekend, which was the only contest there, and luckily I won that one. So that's how I got
Mr.
in.
Leininger has pulled that one off before. Yes, he has.
Yes, he
He's
has.
drove all the way to Utah and put on a cook, and then asked his wife to do it as well, and then went 1-2, grand in reserve when she was making up a team on one drum.
100%.
Which was kind of fun. A drum and a Green Mountain or something. Anyway,
Impressive.
Very impressive. So that's So we went up there.
She pulled a one drum, Drew.
Well, she had a green.
That's nuts. We would cook
crazy.
next to him when he did that.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
She had a Green Mountain too. I think.
Oh,
is what
okay.
She had, she had a Green Mountain too. Anyway.
I was about to say that was impressive.
Yeah, so we go up there to Nebraska and try and cook and try and pull off that Nebraska thing. But you got your draw
I did,
out of
sir.
there. And we were sitting there talking, and Chris goes, I said, Ryan Kane is watching you every week.
Yes.
He's waiting for you to win one. He goes, yeah. And this is what Chris said. He looks at me and goes, yeah, I'm going to let him sweat. And Ryan come over Sunday, and we were dying in the heat after a double in Osceola. And then, God help us, the judges were what they were in Osceola, and we just were banging our heads against the wall.
Same here, brother.
And he goes, I need a shower. I said, and he didn't want to go in the hot shower house. I went, just go take a shower in my trailer. So he takes a shower, and I kind of felt bad. I said, hey, I was talking to Chris. I said, dude, he's in. What? I said, no, he's in. He's in Utah and Arizona. He's got multiples. And he goes, no way. And I said, dude, you're in.
You're in, dude.
And he goes, and I shit you not, you should have seen his face. He's like, oh. and then he's stressing because he thinks, if I get into the Royal Oak and then I get into the Jack, I don't have that kind of time. And I said, well, you're going to the Jack. No offense to the Royal Oak, you're going to the
Yeah,
Jack.
Jack,
You
you
have to
gotta
go.
go to the
You
Jack.
get one shot at the Jack, you're going to the Jack.
You're going to the
So-
Jack.
That was ours last year. You know, we got a draw for Bixby, and so it was one of those situations where you just can't turn. You're not going to.
You're not
going
gonna not go. Yeah.
You know, I'm at work. I'm trading shifts. I'm trying. Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah, I'm taking this off. You know,
Right.
and I even told my boss. I said, if I can't get this off, we're going to have problems.
Yeah.
Right.
Dock me if you need to, whatever. Write me up, but I'm going.
Then you go on Indeed and see your job posted.
Yeah.
Really?
Barbecue full time.
Barbecue full time. It's all said and done. That's pretty cool. What do you got left, Chris? I guess I would have thought you had more than 14 by now.
I've only cooked 14, yeah.
Wow.
So
I've only cooked 3.
I'm going to Dodge City tomorrow.
Oh, you doing that?
So
I'm
So
doing
why
that.
the hell didn't you just go to Dodge City?
And people ask me that, and that's a great question. My thought was this.
We're glad you're here.
We're glad you're here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, two people
Oh, yeah,
already
we're
said-
happy you're here, Chris.
What are you doing here?
Thanks
I'm
for
like,
coming.
Yeah, I didn't know I had to check in at the res when I pulled in, but whatever. But my thought was, we were talking a little earlier, but I haven't cooked in Oklahoma ever, except for Wagner back in 2019, 2020, and then obviously the KCBS World Invitational in Shawnee. So it just seemed like the no-brainer play. I was in Kansas City, so it's 2.5 hours
Yeah.
from the
Right.
hotel. So I said I'll go down there and then roll in. So luckily I got teams from Colorado that are coming to the double, and so they brought my meat out and everything. So
Did they make 25 day 2?
yes, sir.
Did they finally get
they're
there?
at 27 day 2.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Cool. So they're there.
Just
Well, that ought to
switch
be
it up,
fun.
and I've never done a rolling double, so.
I think. Oh yeah, you'll probably never want to do one
Well,
again.
actually, it's my wife's birthday yesterday.
It's even better.
So she said.
Is she going to meet you?
No. She's been to Dodge City, buddy. She's not going back.
Exactly.
Same way your wife didn't want to go to Omaha.
No,
But
exactly.
she goes, so if you're going to miss my birthday, you better make the most of it, pal.
Right,
And,
yeah.
you better win.
Go
So,
get that win.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so that's why I'm here.
Little
You
pressure,
do
little
have a lot of wins. I mean, I think you pop up. I guess I'm just trying to figure out because I don't think Chunky doesn't have that many wins, right?
Chunky's got 2. He's got a lot of RGCs. So
Yeah, no, he does have a lot of
he's got
RGCs.
5 RGCs. Brad has 3 GCs, I think.
But he has like
He's got 98.
32,
Yes.
98 RGCs or
Right.
something. Yeah.
And then outside of that, so I cooked 14. I finished top 10 of 13 of the 14. Just, just
So
hanging-
you're still
just hanging
dropping.
around.
You're still dropping.
Yeah, I'm
some,
dropping some
Yeah.
good stuff. Like I'm dropping 7s and
So if
6s,
you catch a win, you'll catch a win or a
Yeah.
RGC, you'll catch some points.
Yes, sir.
You'll go quick.
Yep,
yeah.
I'm gonna.
Yeah. You
So-
shouldn't be down around 10. I
No,
wouldn't have
I'm
thought
just
that.
hanging around the barbershop, man, waiting for a haircut. You know, That's it. You know how it is, Greg.
No, yeah. Hey, she takes care of me. She does my beard.
I love it.
So
That's an appointment you don't mess with. I figured out with Greg. He is never late to his appointment, and he
Yeah,
is very diligent about going
you know what you have to
for his
understand.
beard.
It's probably the 19th time I've said this. I work 7 days a week. I don't get to cook. I don't get to do much. And the gal, she's just a lovely person, right? And
Yeah,
she's
she's
a
really
great
nice.
person. The gal who does my beard, and Devin and I started this back before 2020. And it was just one of those things I was like, I didn't know they did this, and I pay an incredible amount of money for it, so it's kind of stupid. But I go in, and I don't like to
We
shave.
barbecue,
I
we
literally
understand.
hate to shave, right? So I go in, and she trims my beard, and then I had never had one. This goes back 19. I get one of those, like they call them facials, but the shave and the whole hot towel,
Hot
cold
towel.
towel, all that stuff. So literally, I go every 3 weeks. I'm addicted. I don't shave. I go every 3 weeks.
I'm with it, dude.
She trims my beard, and it is literally it's probably like nails or something. It's almost like a massage. It's
It
just
is.
my time, and she does it right, and I got it yesterday, so it was hard. I was trying.
Complain, buddy. I
I was trying to compare to last week. I was trying to get down here earlier, and I was like, man, I got a 12:30. There's nothing stopping me. And it's Scissors and Scotch. Shameless
Oh.
plug to them. So I'm in there, and
I love that
I've got me a big old fashioned, which is
Which is a bird.
No, there's a special one. It's called a peachy, Dreamy Peach. So it's a peach schnapps old fashioned, and it was pretty incredible. And for lunch, I was sitting in there.
So I assume you're in the membership club, right?
So it used to be because obviously I can't do the 10-year, 15-year. I don't have any hair, right? So
It's like a mortgage over here. you know?
Exactly. They used to have one for the beard, and then
Yes.
after 2020, they dumped the one for the beard. They grandfathered us in. So yes, I'm in the membership club,
Nice.
and they give me a discount, but they take care of me. I'd pay for it anyway. It's
Let me
really
know
pretty
when
cool.
you're going. We'll go together, man.
Oh,
I get a
100%.
haircut every 7 days.
Do you really?
Every 7 days.
Wow.
I will not miss it. And they can pull up and see when the last time you were in.
Right.
And so they're like, you know you were just here. I'm like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
well aware.
Yeah.
You know?
Trim me up.
Yeah, please.
Get me clean,
I'm getting
damn it.
shaggy.
Get me
But that's
clean.
part of I was in the military for 100
Yeah.
years, so it's
And
just one of those things.
That was one of those things I was getting ready to ask you. I was like, I know this. I think I know this, but you were in the military, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where were you?
I was an Army infantryman.
Yeah.
So I joined 99, I think it was. And then
wow.
I got out. So basically, I joined before the war started.
Right.
And I originally signed a 4-year contract. And I was going to do that. I went to college. It wasn't for me. I thought I'd, re-engage that. When I got a little more mature, talked to your old man, and he was like,
He was
yeah, I
same
went
way.
to college here. And I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah,
so I was
that's
going to do
exactly
that, but then the war kicked off in March of '03, and I could have gotten out.
They were signing
but
you up for.
My deal there was those dudes in an infantry rifle platoon. I'm not going to let my friends. That'd be like
Right.
us being friends here. I'm
Right.
not going to go let you go somewhere. No.
Yeah,
So,
right.
and then I went and I went and I went and I went.
So how many years did you do?
I did 13.
Oh, geez, wow.
And everybody's like, why didn't you stay the
Yeah,
dude?
that's
I
what
was gonna say,
about
how-
to ask.
Great question.
Yeah.
So my thought with that is, at that point, that's whenever we'd already pulled out of Iraq. We pulled out of Iraq in 2010. Afghanistan was on on the way down, which is great. But I realized whenever I got back that all I knew was that combat. I was a combat soldier. So then now it's like, as an infantryman, what are you
what are you
really
going to do? Yeah.
Oh yeah, have your guys go.
Let's go do retail sales.
Yeah, clean the pooper.
And
so I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Right.
So I had a buddy, a mentor of mine, who was about 5 or 6 years older than me, and he had just retired. And so I had a special skill set in the infantry that called a unicorn. It's 250 people at any given time actively to have it, and but they were paying buku money as a private contractor, and so I got out on that and went. I got out on Tuesday. I was in Saudi Arabia on a Thursday.
Yeah. Did you do 3 years there? Or
I
a year
did
and a half?
that for about two and some change.
It's good
and
money.
Then, yeah, but then my wife was like,
You coming home?
dude, it's like, is this sustainable? And then,
Right.
so Greg, you'll appreciate this. It's like, let's open a barbecue store.
Right, yeah,
and then she goes, is this sustainable?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, hey.
This is worse. Getting shot at or getting yelled at
Yes.
about a smoker. Yeah, what are we going to do? Dude, I appreciate your service.
Of
I
course,
knew
man.
that was the case, and I
Yeah.
really do appreciate it. I know
Yeah.
that's a given, but, you know, the first responders in the military, dear
100%.
by heart, 100%, and I appreciate what
Yes,
you've
sir.
done. I always give you that respect for sure, 100%. And in a long time. I say that. Why the hell did you get out? You only had 7 to go.
Only
but
7.
None of us that have ever been
Right.
there know what only 7 means,
Yeah,
right?
Only
Only
7.
seven.
Man. It's like, oh my God.
Right.
And I was at that point, I was in like a brigade staff job, so
Yeah.
I wasn't, I
Right.
thought for me that time in my, like, it just,
Time to go.
time to go.
Yeah.
Done
and
enough.
figure it
Yeah.
out from there. So,
Oh, that's pretty cool, man.
yes, sir.
Jeff, Nancy,
Yep.
Amazon. Always been there for a long time?
No, and no. I've been with Amazon for the last this September's coming up 4 years. I got Amazon when I left the fire department.
Oh, was you a fireman?
Yep.
Nice.
Well, then,
There you go.
thank you, sir. Holy cow. We take care of
responders.
first responders. We take care of them. Yeah.
I was at the fire department 13 years.
13's a magic number, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you what, and it's one of those situations where I just it got to we ran our own ambulance out of our fire department, so there was a lot of
Most
stuff
most are doing that now,
Yeah,
right? You got to have an
nowadays,
EMS and you got to have everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and so when I decided I was going to kind of finish that tour, I wasn't old enough to draw my pension.
Yeah.
I'm glad I wasn't old enough, but unfortunately I wasn't old enough.
Yeah.
So then it led me to Amazon.
Cool.
I just needed that something just to.
Is that in a DC, a big distribution center, shipping facility or something?
AMZL, the delivery centers.
The delivery centers.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, which are actually fairly new to Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
It's only been around for about 5 years, I
Right.
think.
They just built a big distribution center in Blue Springs, like about 10 minutes from our house.
Yeah.
And Brad says it's because of me.
Oh, well.
Ain't no shit.
Because I keep Amazon going. I mean, why do I have to run to 15 stores when I can do it in 10 minutes on my phone? Like,
absolutely.
And it's going to be here in
It's
2
too
days.
easy.
And I
It's
know what I'm
too
looking for.
easy.
Right.
Too easy. I always tell
But-
my wife, I'm like, so you understand the way banks work, right? You can actually put money into them and not just pull out.
And just
Here's
pull
how
out,
that
right.
works, right?
Right.
That's funny.
But I did that for 13 years. Prior to that, I was running around the country. I was chefing, as I like to say.
Oh, really?
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I have a culinary background.
Oh, cool.
So I went to school for all that. Big plug to Oklahoma State.
Sure.
But have a culinary background, so I did that for probably, gosh, it was about maybe
Well, at least 10 years.
10 years. I want to say 13. 13
13
seems to be
13
the magic
seems to be the number.
But it was around 10, 12 years, something like that. I was in California. I was on the West Coast, and I decided I wanted a complete change. And OSU has a real nice fire program, so I had credits that were already built up, and so it was just a nice little transition, something completely different. And it was completely different.
Get
Was
right.
that private chefing you were doing, or were you in restaurants? And-
I was in, it was kind of upscale location resorts.
Oh, nice.
In
Not bad.
West Coast, I was Carmel at a
Oh, wow.
property
Oh, yeah.
called Stone Pine. I was in Hawaii at Four Seasons for a while.
Oh, wow.
Uh,
That had to be tough.
Oh, it was
Sounds
just
horrible.
It was awful. Awful.
I think I would have
Damn.
stayed at that place for 13
It
years.
was good. It was actually
Exactly.
the Four Seasons gig was actually kind of a working vacation. I was
Right.
actually in Stone Pine, and our general manager actually knew the general manager in Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
And so at the Maui resort, and so it was like, hey, my chef kind of needs a break here. What do you think? And I'm like, I'll go to Hawaii, absolutely.
Twist my arm, yeah.
So I worked over there and then came back, and then I went to the East Coast. Worked at a little property in North Carolina called the Swag, and kind of run these
Stone Pine, Swag.
Swag.
These are all like,
Right.
Swanky
Yeah.
places.
I wanna
Nice
go, yeah.
They're
places.
destination properties, and they're a little upscale. Stone Pine was one of the. It's at the time was the only Relais Chateau purple in the U.S. So it was a big plug. Relais Chateau
That's
is.
what I was about to say. Can
Yeah.
you explain that?
Yes,
Because
yes.
I don't know what that
Sounds
means.
great.
It's like kind of like the Michelin stars of hotels.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so they have different colors: silver, gold, and purple.
Okay.
And we were the only purple.
Very
In the
cool.
United States, so it was a nice little plug. I enjoyed it a lot, a whole lot.
So French trained as culinary.
Yeah, that's primarily French background, and I have a lot of kind of fusion techniques that I do, especially only because I worked with a great guy in Oklahoma City, Kurt Fleischfresher, big plug there. He's done a lot for Oklahoma City cuisine, and he's been to Europe. And that's where he's classically trained, but he also has been all over the world. And so he's brought all that back to Oklahoma City. So yeah, I got to work under him
Very
for
cool.
do my apprenticeship, so to speak.
So what led you to barbecue then? How'd you find this way?
Well,
What?
like everybody else,
Right.
I made the mistake of buying a smoker.
Right.
You know, and I
not a
thought-
mistake, Greg. Not a
Yeah,
mistake.
not a
Yeah,
mistake.
not a
More
mistake.
smokers.
Yeah.
I was
I would say my 7th was my favorite, so I don't think you have enough. So
well, now I'm up to about 7,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think. But I was at the fire department, and of course, you know,
You
we
have to
all
cook,
look.
Cook,
yeah.
yeah.
We have to cook. So I got to looking at smokers, and I was like, man, I need something that's convenient for me, something that's easy, and but something that I can really use. And unfortunately, I found this website. Big plug here, Yoder Smokers. Huge Yoder Smoker fan. But that was my first, was the pellet smoker. That's what I learned, and I'm telling you, I've had that thing for a month, and then all of a sudden I said, what can I do more with this?
right. Oh yeah.
And I found KCBS.
Oh cool.
And I said, oh, this is cool. And I talked to Mom, and
Said let's buy a Jambo.
well, I went. My very next purchase was a Cimarron Yoder because I thought, hey, some of these places do a whole hog, and I
Right.
want to do a whole hog. So I got to have something. And I was like, I don't want to cook the whole barnyard, but I want to do a whole hog.
Right.
And then they just went from there.
Sure.
And I'm telling you
That's
what,
how it always goes.
Oh my God.
Have you gotten to cook that whole hog?
Yes, I have.
All
Yes, I
right,
have.
all right.
And
That's a lot of fun.
It's a.
I never thought I
hell of
would
a
ever
lot of
do
fun.
it. That's a lot of fun.
It is a
That's a lot of fun. We
It
We
was
just
a
did
lot
one
of
for
fun.
your anniversary
Yeah.
party. didn't
yeah, we
you?
did. Yeah, we did.
On
Yeah.
that Myron Mix and Smoker right there.
and really inspired by Memphis in May. I mean, we did one at my grand opening 2 years ago with Josh DeWitt and Trey Zink and some of them guys, and that was fun. And I really didn't get to be. Craig Verhaga was out from Royal Oak, and we didn't get to really be hands on. But I didn't learn much. But I was fortunate enough to get to go to Memphis in May this year and cook whole hog with Michael Simon and Joe Pierce from Slaps Barbecue. And man, it just, what we learned and what we did with them 3 big hogs was really cool. And then when we were coming back to do, just not even a month later, come back to do our anniversary, I was like,
Yeah.
Brad, Brad been saying he's going to do a whole
That's
hog
why he
since he
bought the
owned
pit.
that big Myron
We
mixing
don't
pit.
need that big of a pit to compete on, but he bought it
He's
so
got
we could cook whole hogs
He's got
on
an
it.
MM60, a Myron mixing 60, and an H2O. And I said, bring that pit.
He
We're
said,
doing
"What-
a whole hog.
What's,
He
what's the
goes,
size? I said 150 pounds.
Yep,
That's
that's
what
what
it's
they
rated
said.
for.
So we
Man.
did a 150-pound hog, and Brad and I, we stayed up all night cooking that thing,
Yeah,
and
how
we
long
had
did
a
that
lot of
take?
fun. It was So we did it at 300, but the hog taking up the whole pit really messed up airflow. So, but Brad knows how to run it where we actually created a reverse flow instead of running both stacks. We shut down one side, let the heat come up, move around the top of the hog, and then get out the top on the other side, which helped even up the pit, which was fantastic. So we had it on at 7:30 at night, and I bet it was done. It was done about 11, maybe. It was actually probably a little longer than I thought, but I think we did one thing that pit really couldn't handle because it's not wide enough. We butterflied it and laid her back. And it went really from the side walls to the doors, and we cranked it up. So we just were really knocking off all the airflow.
We pushed every square inch of that baby.
We absolutely did. And it worked, and it came out phenomenal.
It worked great.
I think had we maybe cooked it prone or racing, that I think it would have been a little more narrow, and we might have gotten a better airflow. We probably could have cooked it quicker.
But then according to Myron, you lose all those juices.
No, you do. I mean, and he's right. We had the juices, we had the color, it
was gorgeous.
And the way we wanted to display it and be able to pick at it and get the bark and the color and the yum on it, it was the best way to do it. So it was great. It did a great job. Very tender because the moisture in that pit anyway.
It's probably the best pork I've ever had. I mean, it was just consistently everything we pulled out.
So it's really
really
believe
good.
it or not, it's really odd. And maybe it's because we screw shit up when we do pork. I don't know. It was so good. And I hate pork.
So now are you turning in whole hog tomorrow?
I should. I do.
But here's the thing. We didn't cook it.
I'm cooking it on the asphalt.
We didn't cook it like KCBS.
No, we didn't.
We cooked it with flavors profiles that complemented pork, but it's not the sweet. I mean, we had a little bit of sweet, but it wasn't over powerful, and it wasn't syrupy or saucy. I mean, it was just right. Just right amount of everything.
And you get it, you're pulling it, right? And when you get it mixed in with some of those other flavors and those different cuts.
And the dark and the
we injected the living hell out of it.
Yeah.
We got rub on it. We packed it with brown sugar. Some of it was all good
stuff.
stuff.
And what kind of rubs did we put on that, Greg?
I can't remember. I think it was it spicy apple and
sweet and savory, bold and beefy.
So there was a guy from some meat person barbecue that
maybe man meat.
Man meat. That's what I'm sorry, not man meat. But we put home style on it, and we actually ran Smokin' Magic pork rub, which was phenomenal. And then I use Simply Marvelous Spicy Apple on anything pork, no matter what. I love it. It's a top layer of everything. And they're like, what? And I said, spicy apple's going on this pig. I can tell you that right now.
He does wonders.
Oh, I love his rubs. I really do. So I put spicy apple on top a little bit. And then again, Craig Verhagen's suggestion that he was in our store that Friday and we were prepping, and we put brown. I hadn't probably thought of this, but we packed the top of it with brown sugar. He gave us a lot of tips.
Yeah.
And they're U-Bonds. I mean, they're a phenomenal pork team from Memphis and May. So
pork, gator,
anything you want.
They got it all.
Anything you want. And Craig's phenomenal. So we did it, and we had a lot of fun. It was a great hog. So it was a lot of fun.
We had mops and all kinds of stuff too.
That was actually one of the stories. We were just going to kind of mop or do whatever and just come in and spritz it and spray it. And I said, no, let's get that twang. Let's put that Smokin' Magic twang in there. So we really just went in and mopped with twang and some more stuff, and not really much more, just twang, and then got it wrapped and let it finish. And it was phenomenal. By the time we started pulling everything, we just got it cooked. I think it's like anything. You just got it cooked right.
It was cooked right.
And we got it cooked right, and then the bacon was right. The ham was right.
Oh,
the loin,
it was good.
We got the loin off and just went, wow, okay. Yeah. I was scared to death of it. I thought we were going to screw it up. Yeah. And I went, wow.
Well, y'all kept that ice on it, though.
We
babied those loins.
We were packing it with ice all night long on top of it to keep the loin cold. And
that's smart.
We had pork belly underneath it. So we, instead of trimming butts and doing that, we had lined up 2 pork bellies underneath the spine of this hog, so it kept an insulation layer to the loin. And then during the cook, once we got up in that 130, 132 range, right in there, and we knew we were getting close, and our butts and our shoulders and our hams weren't there. They weren't even close. And we're just like, we got to start packing with ice. So we just plastic Ziploc bags. And
so was that something you learned in Memphis in May?
It was something. It was something we talked about, and stuff we heard is how pack it with ice and get some. Now we had already had them packed and insulated. We cut strips out of pork belly and shoved them down in there. So we actually have pork belly running on top of these loins and cooking.
Why not?
And why not, right? It's bacon.
Everything's better with bacon.
It's insulation.
And then you have something to cook and eat afterward that's got an amazing flavor.
Sure.
Right, and then we just, like I said, we just kept stuffing bags with ice, and we'd go out and throw them on top, and they'd melt pretty quick, but it was cold, it was water, and
Cool it down enough.
and literally it held them off. I couldn't believe it.
That's great.
And by the time we
hours
got
and
done,
hours.
we needed it for probably 6 hours, 5 hours that way. And we probably packed it 4 times, 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
By the time we did that, by the time we got to getting everything else done, the warmest part of it had gotten to like 152. And I was like, oh, hell. And then most of it was 145-ish. And I was like, wow. So I just didn't know how it was going to come out. We let it rest for a while. And then once we pulled it off, and then we actually got slices out of it, and I went, oh,
Okay,
this is how it's supposed to be. We might have got this right. This is a happy accident. We might have done something.
So was American Fire making and Smokin Magic going to the Memphis in May this year? Or what?
Well, we should. I know Brad wants to go, but it's kind of a, I don't know. We'll see if Joe, and them we going to make a second run at it and go again, show or no show.
Yeah.
We're going.
We talked about trying to put together, we would have to have a group because financially we
the
can't.
finances are low.
Can't do it.
Ridiculous.
But we would start off probably with shoulder. Is probably what we would go do.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Just because I know
I
Joe
understand-
jumped
I
in with
understand.
whole hog and
But I understand
the
the
coolers,
thought. but-
just the logistics of how to keep that much meat cold in transit. And
We've already thought about it.
holding and
If we put an air conditioner in there, we put a freezer, an air
you're gonna
conditioner.
hang meat in my cook trailer.
No, we're going to cut a hole. We're going to put air conditioner right on top of the hood of that trailer, and we're going to turn it into a reefer trailer.
Oh.
That's it. Honest
I
to God.
bet there's somebody in Miami that could do that.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Sure.
Seriously, I'll be honest with you. The way we bought troughs, and we ran 220-pound hogs, 3 of them, in troughs, and we packed ice on them, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It was hot, and Joe and Jamie and I were sitting there talking, going, "We'll just make the trailer a reefer trailer." He goes, "I got a big walk-in reefer. We'll put that on top there. We'll just turn that trailer into a reefer. We ain't buying no more ice. We'll have a walk-in. We'll pull in with a walk-in."
Angie said you could rent those ice trailers.
Oh, I think you can.
I mean, that would have probably been the way to go.
This is what I always tell Mom. I always tell her, is like, you're witnessing right now barbecue man science. It's happening right
now. This is what it is.
We're solving problems,
That's
man.
right. It's
We're
happening.
solving
I tell her
problems.
about it all the time, and she's like, where do you get this stuff? I'm like, you're witnessing it right now.
Mama,
Barbecue man
it
science.
only takes money.
Yeah, right.
It
money.
more of it.
It only takes money. Chris, who's inspired you? How'd you end up on this journey you're on once you made it out of the military?
Yeah, good question. So I actually cooked my first KCBS contest when I was still in the military.
Right.
So it was in 2011 at West Point, New York. I was stationed there. And there was a local butcher shop, and I went in, to buy some like baby back ribs or something stupid probably. And I saw this flyer, and it was a place called New Paltz, New York. It's in the Hudson Valley, and I had a buddy that I worked with, and I had 2 WSMs. He had the WSM, and I think a Humphreys or something. And neither one of us had ever done it. We're just great friends, right? We like to party, get banged up, and we were like, let's go do it, man. So we loaded up with like 98 pounds of John Henry's.
John Henry's, yeah.
John
Henry's, yeah.
And we ran 50-50 OG and Tennessee Red on everything in a mason jar, and went out there, and we got killed. But we had the best time ever, know. And
you're hooked.
And you're hooked, right? Never got a call, never did anything, but we had a great time. So then fast forward, we did that. I was there 2 years. I think I did that contest twice. Never got a call. It's fine. And then whenever I got out and came back from being a security contractor, I didn't have a job, right? So, which is fine. I didn't really need one, so I was just hanging out. My wife was like, "Dude, you got to do something. Like, you're driving me crazy." So then I went, and I was there was a local barbecue shop in Colorado Springs where I live, which is near Fort Carson. And they sold grills and stuff like that, and yoders and meats and stuff. And I said I was a regular, and they were like, "What do you do all day?" I'm like, I have some beers, you know, I go to the gym. They're like, "You want a job, man, like a part-time?" I said, yeah, sure, man, you know. He's like, "You get a discount." I'm like, awesome. You know,
I mean,
so that was
I'm in.
basically what it was. And then did that for a year and a half. It was called Colorado Springs Grill Store. And then my spouse, she was in the military too. She was aviation in the Army, and we got funny story. So she is from El Paso, Texas.
Fort Bliss.
She hates. I mean,
Yeah.
border town, whatever.
Yeah.
She joined the Army, you know, to get college
To
money
get
and
out.
stuff and leave El Paso. And then she comes home one day and I could tell something's wrong. And I'm like, "What's wrong?" She's like, "I just got orders to go to move. We have to move." And I was like, "Okay, like whatever, you know, like, that's fine. I'll be a dependopotamus. I get track here. I'm good." So I said, "Where are we going?" I'm thinking it's Hawaii,
Right,
Germany.
right.
She's like, "Fort Bliss." I was like, "El Paso?" She's like, "Motherfucker," you know. And so we went back down there, and then there was a retail store there. It was a Yoder dealer called Fire, Smokin Grill. So I reached out to them and said, "This is what the value I can add maybe to your business. You need any help? Let me know." And I did that. And then she went to Afghanistan. It would have been 20-something. And then I said, "Well, I'm not staying in El Paso if you ain't here."
Right.
So I hightailed it up to Colorado. And then that's kind of how Proud Souls was,
cool.
was developed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Very cool.
Yep. So
Who's your mentor in there?
yeah,
Do you have
mentor,
one?
Yeah, I do. I think like all of us, right? It's conversations like these. I
Right.
think
Yeah.
if you really go back and try to put, well, this guy, I think we're always evolving, right? So
Right.
I look at someone who was big to me in my younger years, would have been just my barbecue teammate, that guy at West Point, New York, right? He was the rib guy, you know,
Yeah.
and he taught me a lot about that. And then, you know, we'll call myself backyard. And then whenever I started competing again in 2018, Tony Roberts was a huge influence to me. He had some decent success early. And then after that, you know, I think the more success you get, right, you have not a different group of friends, but you have more exposure to more people.
Right.
Where you just hang around and just sit down, talk to guys like you guys, and then we really just kind of pick it off. But I'd say to this point, everybody can always be a student of the craft.
Absolutely.
All you got to do is listen.
Just listen.
Yeah,
man.
listen.
That's what some of the people we've had on, you know, it's a tremendous honor. But I don't know if it's an insult if I talk too much or what. But like Ryan Kane and some others have said, I just come in the store.
Yeah.
And then if you stop and you listen, you know, whether it's me, Greg, or Joe, or someone comes in the store and is just talking, if you just stop and listen, you'll pick something up from somebody somewhere, right?
100%.
And really, it's so valuable.
It's those little nuggets
Yep.
that you pick up along the way with all those
100%.
conversations.
And not
from
even
all the
sometimes a
people.
lot of, you know, not even process, definitely not even recipe. It's just knowledge, just experience.
Yeah.
How do you navigate this and the struggles and the things that happen to you on the road, you know? So do you have a mentor that you did, or just kind of
did.
self-taught and learned? And
Mom, always
mom,
always mom.
Always mom. Yeah.
No, I mean, I have two, and one of them is here, who I'm competing against, David Buska.
Yep.
Never bad.
Never bad.
Yeah, he's one of the first gentlemen that I met when we first started, and man, we got to talking, and he's just so open and honest.
He's a good dude.
And so we really talk a lot.
Yep.
And Donnie Teal.
Donnie Teal.
I'm telling you, that guy.
It's hard to beat Donnie
Yeah.
and Cindy, man.
The trick to Donnie, get him talking.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
If you can get him
Yes.
talking, because he's just so laid back.
But you can't be scared of it.
No,
You
No,
can't-
that's what
he
I
comes
said.
across. He looks kind of tough sometimes. You just can't be scared of it.
Don't be
because-
scared of the jean shorts.
No.
You know? right.
And the mustache. And the mustache.
Yes,
It's a
yes.
mustache.
No, he's a good
Love him.
dude.
No, those are my two fellas that I'll lean heavy on if things
Yep.
just aren't clicking right. And you know, sometimes it's just you're not doing anything wrong. It's a slump. That's
Great.
all it is.
Yeah.
You know.
It's great
So-
people to learn
Yeah,
from.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So
100%.
our question that we like to ask towards the end of the show is, what is something besides barbecue that you guys like to cook at home? It could be anything.
Oh, I'm old-fashioned. Fried chicken,
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
ma'am.
Yep.
homemade tomatoes,
Mm-hmm.
black-eyed peas,
Yes. Oh, yeah.
and of course fried okra.
Oh, that's my favorite.
That's what we had out on the farm. That's
Oh,
what we raised.
I love
Had it
okra.
every day.
Then we
Every
come
day.
up here
Really?
and I can't find it very much. In Texas, it's all over the place.
Yep.
And then up here, I'm
They
growing
just-
it, and people are looking at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah,
I love it.
most people don't even know what it is.
Or how to cook it.
My daughter moved up to Nebraska, and she was missing okra.
Yes.
Well, this guy, he said, well, I'm going to so-and-so this weekend. I'll see if they have any. Well, he says, I found you some. So she says, oh, great. And I opened it up. Or she said, opened it up. And it was leeks.
Oh no!
Whoops.
She was so
Disappointed, yeah.
So disappointed. Yes.
Fried chicken, fried.
Yum.
Boy, that sounds good.
I
Doesn't that
miss
sound good?
fried
Yeah,
chicken.
it's
Homemade fried chicken.
And there's just I can't argue with that. There's something about just home style fried
Yes.
chicken, fresh tomatoes, and well, I don't eat okra, never have.
Me neither, really.
It's not
Oh, it's so
my
good.
thing. I'm kind of, I think, the black sheep of the family.
You just
But
got judged right
it's,
there.
It's okra and biscuits. I
Yeah.
don't do.
You don't eat biscuits either?
No.
Oklahoma's like the biscuit
Oh
gravy
my!
cabinet.
Yeah,
I was about
right?
to say,
Yes.
what do you put gravy on?
On bread,
Oh, on
just
bread.
a
So we're
slice
okay
of
with
bread,
bread, but just not
yeah,
biscuits.
Not biscuits.
Not even
No
homemade biscuits?
No.
That just
Oh,
makes
man.
bread soggy. You need a biscuit.
You got to eat it fast.
Like cereal.
No, my favorite thing to do is, believe it or not, it's duck confit,
Yeah.
braised or pan-seared sweetbreads with vermouth sauce.
Oh wow.
Oh, that
Something
sounds
chefy, obviously.
really
That's my-
good.
I used to.
Something I've never cooked.
I was able to have that, fortunately, for supper probably 6 times a week when I was many years ago, and I
wonderful.
still do it, and that's my go-to.
I eat so much of it when he eats it, when he fixes it. It's okay.
It's
But
okay.
here's what's cool about Jeff's story, right? I don't know if you guys picked up on that, but I did. Is you can take the country or the chef out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the chef.
Right.
That man says supper.
He says supper. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. It's still supper.
That wasn't fine dining somewhere in the household.
I
Chris,
did have to. No,
Supper
go ahead,
menu.
Chris.
Chris, how about you?
Man,
What'd you like to cook?
I grew up in Alabama, or until I joined the military. But I grew up on the Gulf Coast, so I grew up in a little town called Daphne, and basically it's on the eastern shore between Mobile Bay and Orange Beach. So growing up, salt life, right? So
Right.
mine is crawfish etouffee.
Right.
I love a good crawfish etouffee.
Yeah.
But to your point, I do like the fried okra. I like the black-eyed peas. But yeah, if I'm making something at home that's not barbecue, it's always crawfish etouffee.
Yeah.
Yum.
Awesome.
What are you cooking on, Jeff? What do you compete with?
Yoder.
Yoder. So
Yeah.
you are on Yoder.
On
the Cimarron?
I'm on a Cimarron that I just had built. It's probably on its 4th cook, and I did a lot of internal modifications to it, and I'm loving those things.
Cool.
I have my Jambo.
I was going to say, weren't you on the Jambo before?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
I was
good.
on a Jambo.
I thought I was
and-
crazy. I swore you were on Jambo before.
Yep, and I've got a couple of cans, a couple of gateways. Love those things. I still cook with the gateway, and but yeah, I'm Yoder through and through.
Cool.
I got pellet and stick burner, so
Cool.
Awesome.
try to work with both of those because I think the key to this is know your smoker.
Yeah.
Once you learn your smoker, you can't go wrong.
Right.
You just can't.
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah, I cook on gateways.
There are gateways.
Yes,
I didn't
sir.
know if you had a homemade drum at one time or if they've always been
They've
gateways.
always been
They've always been
gateways. Yes,
gateways.
sir. Yep.
Cool. You
Yes,
like
sir.
those?
Yeah, they're
You want to tell us about the butter thing on the ribs? I just want to ask you. I seen it one time years ago. And
Yeah.
Do you still do that?
I don't do that. Well, yes. and
So if
no.
you don't know what you're talking about, there was a video shot at the Royal one
Yeah.
year, and I saw something I had never seen before, and he was taking, I assume it wasn't blue butter, it was melted butter
Yeah,
of
yeah.
some sort, and he was he's setting sauce, he's dumping butter on the coals,
Yeah.
and creating this steam,
It's called the smoke show.
the smoke show.
Smoke show. Yeah. I'll be honest. I got away from that, and the cool part is that was a barbecue league deal at the Royal, and I walked for that. I didn't get on the big stage that year, but I did get a call. I think it was 10th maybe or 11th or something. And but yeah, I think that I do that a lot with chicken. I think I want competition barbecue food to have the aesthetics and the tenderness of what we all expect, but I want it at the end of the day, consider our audience, right? I want it
Right.
to taste
Right.
familiar to people.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of the play. Yeah, a little melted butter over there, shut your vents down, because I've done it where I didn't shut it, and then I had a
Ooh,
freaking
yeah.
fire.
You had a
bet
fire.
You did.
Yeah.
Yep.
A grease fire.
But yeah, it was. It's something I
Grease.
still do that, but I don't do it on ribs.
On ribs anymore?
No, sir. No.
What's your favorite accomplishment in barbecue?
Good question. I'd probably obviously say the American Royal. That was for me was huge. But I think even deeper than that was probably my first GC. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
let's not. I didn't win the Royal. I went second. So I think
Yeah,
probably
you
my
were.
first,
Were you reserving the Invitational?
I did. Yep,
Yeah,
last
yeah.
year.
That's
Yep.
right. I
And
forgot
took
about that. Sorry.
I'm a really honestly, I'm a really good brisket cook, and so to get recognized, I got a 180 brisket there. Man,
Right.
that's
That's awesome.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
fantastic.
I would say to this point, probably my first GC, and then after that, it's almost who you reserved, who you beat, right?
Who you beat?
Right.
Yeah.
I beat Parrot Head, man. So
Right.
if you think when your
Right.
first GC was, I was like, shit, Parrot Head. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
guy, he's the best cook you never heard of,
Right,
right?
yeah, no.
Or you never even see him.
If you
hear
haven't
his
been
name.
around for a while, yeah.
Right.
Because
So-
I know when I was coming in 15, he would pop into Kansas City every now and then and
Yep.
catch something. And I met him at a small little first year contest. And
Yes, sir.
Genuine dude. Nice dude.
Yeah, 100%. But that would be my biggest two, I would say.
Do you have a favorite contest?
I do. Anywhere in Montana.
Really?
If you haven't cooked Montana, they don't always love the food, but whatever. It's the people, it's the scenery. You know, driving north on I-25 from Denver up north, man, and take some time when you go out there. I mean, Red Lodge, Montana is 30 minutes away. It's in a quaint town. The contest, you can set up very similar to this. The weather's incredible.
Not 102.
Not 102, more like 82, but
1,000
just
degrees.
it's just.
What's the elevation there? Is that, are you
It's not
cooking
bad.
elevation?
It's like, no, it's low. I'd say low.
Yeah.
My low, 4,000. It's like
Ah,
4,500.
okay. So it's
Yep.
not something
like
crazy.
what we're talking Frisco, or
Right.
where it's 10,000 now.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
It cooks very very similar to Denver. So
Jeff, what's your favorite accomplishment? What have you done?
Oh my gosh. I would have to say I have a couple. A couple. Number one was just getting to cook with Mom.
Right.
You know, our first GC was Shawnee was one of the last year, or I think it was the last year they had it.
I was
actually.
gonna mention that about you.
Yeah.
You and Chingon that weekend, I was like,
That
am I
weekend,
even
yeah.
here?
It was a
Petey's
big
Pit
deal.
Crew
It was
and
a big deal.
Chingon.
Big
I was
deal.
like,
Yep.
And you know, and then getting our call to the Jack. I mean, it
That's
was just,
awesome.
It was
Such an honor.
It was.
That's a
big for
special
us,
experience. And then you get to do it with Mom.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of
Absolutely.
something you can't
Absolutely.
you
That's
can't
something
get
I
back.
love.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
that's
that.
very cool. Well, guys, this has been a whole lot of
Yeah.
fun. You got anything else you want to add, or you all doing good? It's
I'm
probably
good,
about
man.
time to get busy, isn't it?
Yep,
is.
it's about
It
time to
is.
get
Yeah,
down to
about
business.
time to get busy. So,
Yep.
Really cool.
225.
What?
225.
Oh,
so
good
time
God,
to get down
we
to
got
business.
stuff to do, don't we?
Yeah.
Hey, guys, this is Nancy. It's been a pleasure meeting you, baby. Nice to
Thank
meet
you.
Jeff. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Chris Webb.
yes, sir.
Thank y'all so
Bushmaster
much.
BBQ, thank you very much. Hey, I'm Greg Hasty from American Fire Barbecue, and we got Bree Vibe from Smokin Magic, where we're just wrapped up with Jeff and Nancy from Petie Smokin Pits,
Petie's.
and we wrapped up with Mr. Chris Webb from Bushmaster Barbecue out of Proud Souls. So,
He'll hear it. Hey, he'll hear it call tomorrow. Don't worry.
He'll remember it.
did I get it wrong?
You just had to think.
I did have to think. Yeah. Hey, this has been a lot of fun. We really appreciate you spending time with us. Have a great weekend. Good luck to you all. If it can't be us, let it be you, all right? For Bree and I, we are out.
Out.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.